Hi guys, Dave Pinson here. Moving to the Philippines. Today I want to talk about grocery shopping in the Philippines. Be very careful. This part of the story will also come up in my eating in the eateries in the Philippines, eating in the Philippines. But grocery shopping in the Philippines. Okay, so unless you're a millionaire and you don't care about money, if you don't care about money and you have all the money, you have great resources and it doesn't matter and you can spend lots and lots of money, then just go to the mall. You know, if you live in an area where you're close, I'm 20 minutes away from a modern shopping center that has almost everything I can get. Almost everything I can get in the U.S. Not everything. It's air conditioned. You know, it's just a nice place, right? You might not be though. If I lived a little further away and I didn't have that option, then what would I do? Well, I'd have to go to a wet market, right? I'd have to do different. There's different ways that I could do my grocery shopping. You can even buy stuff online. There's a company here called Lazada, a little bit like Amazon. Not it's not Amazon, but it's a Philippine style version. You can actually buy food there. You have to pay shipping, blah blah blah. But if you're going to go on your normal shopping trip, a lot of people will go to a wet market too because you can save money going to a wet market, right? That's true. You can save money going to a wet market, so you could go to a wet market and buy your groceries there. We do both, and let's get into it. Let's break this down. How do we do it, and how do we learn about all this, and why is it important? First of all, we don't buy meat at the wet market because we don't know how long it's been sitting there, and they will keep stuff going until it starts to stink. So you could buy stuff that's rancid, and you don't even know it's rancid until after you eat it. Now, I've had food poisoning three different times, three or four different times in the Philippines, and it has not been fun. And it came from different sources. Well, one of those sources is the wet market. So you have to be careful when you buy stuff from the wet market. How careful do you have to be? Well, a good friend of mine was here visiting, and he went up to this resort, and they had a farm up there, and he took the carrots. This is the story I heard. I wasn't there, so this is the story I heard from the family here who was with them. He took the carrots there, wiped them off, and ate them, and he got food poisoning. Why? Because of bacteria here. There's bacteria in the food here that we don't have in the United States. You don't grow up with this, so you're not immune to it like these folks are, right? Right? So we don't buy meat at the wet market. Now a lot of Americans do, a lot of Europeans do. I just don't trust it because of my having issues with my stomach a couple of times. You don't know how long it's been sitting there. It's not refrigerated. We don't know, you know, and they don't even think about it. So Filipinos have strong stomachs. They can handle a lot of things. We had another friend who bought some meat at the wet market, put it in the back of the car, left it in the back of the car for an hour or longer while we went shopping, and didn't even tell me it was in there. So I could have at least protected it and put it in a cold bag or something, right? And don't even think about it, and then cooked it up anyway. And I don't know how long it's been sitting out. So yeah, that's we'll get into eateries someday and how you should be careful, but we do not buy meat at a wet market personally. You can do whatever you want. If you know the guy or the lady who's selling it and you know it's fresh. Well, now we do buy fish from a wet market because fish is this is we're right by the ocean. And I have eaten fish that people will sell me fish and I'll buy fish from vendors. It's a little different, but the beef especially and the pork is a different story. So but we don't buy meat in general. What beef and pork for sure. Chicken, we don't buy that from a wet market. The other thing about a wet market or any outside market, any open air market, when it's not in a mall or something, um, if they don't go there with your wife if you're Americano or European because as soon as they see you, the price changes. We found that out. We bought some rattan furniture, and I know we paid probably twice of what she sells it to the locals for. And I learned my lesson. Same thing with the vegetables. If they see the Americano or they see and with anything really, even building supplies sometimes. If you go in and buy building supplies and they see you now, unless it's a reputable store, but if it's one of these outside vendors, they'll jack the price up on you. So when we go to the wet market, I stay in the car and she goes to the wet market. I don't go with her because we're trying to save money here. I don't have limitless supplies, but the vegetables are cheaper there than they are in the grocery store, the market, the mall market grocery store. They're cheaper there, and they're good quality, and you can tell vegetables are fresh, and you can wash them off. So she does buy, and we also buy eggs from the outside vendors because the eggs are good here. The eggs are fresh. We don't refrigerate the eggs. And why is that? Well, I don't know if you know this about eggs. Look it up, Google it, or however you look up your information. Um, originally eggs, if you don't wash off the stuff on them, the colostrum or whatever it is, that the slime that's on them, if you just let it dry, eggs will last longer if you don't refrigerate them, even in the U.S. But because the U.S. it loves the refrigeration and loves to save people from diseases or whatever, they washed all the eggs off and then they put them in the refrigerator. So we keep our eggs in the refrigerator in the U.S. Over here we don't, right? So we buy eggs from the open air vendor, right? Um, my wife buys balut from an open air vendor because that's the only place you can get it if you know what balut is. But we'll buy our vegetables, our fruits and vegetables from the open air market. Just a second. Okay, good. I just got some advice from my wife about the wet market. All right, so we say you can buy fish there because you can usually tell. Here's what she said: if you can have a local person with your spouse or whatever, if you know what you're doing, first of all, don't let them pick the fish because they will mix the fresh fish with the fish that's not fresh. They will mix them together, and they will change the lighting so that they all look fresh. Here's what she said: you can tell if the fish is fresh or not. If don't buy a fish that has red eyes. There you go. A little helpful hint from a local Filipino. Don't buy a fish that has red eyes. Also, the place where we buy our fish is not part of that wet market. It's actually over here, closer to the ocean, and they keep the fish as ice so they don't keep them at room temp. They actually put ice over the fish all day long. So be careful with, and if they're under that light, take them out of that light and look at their eyes, smell them, make sure they're fresh, right? But as far as the other meat goes, don't do it because they keep them at room temp and you don't know what's going on. So we do buy our fruits and vegetables, most of them at the wet market. Cabbage, bananas, almost everything. We're not going to find tomatoes there, so we'll get into that in a minute. So when we go to the grocery store, we buy other stuff there, right? But we do buy our eggs and we do buy our vegetables and fruit from the wet market, right? So we go to the wet market. I park the car. She goes in usually with her sister or her mom or somebody, and she does the shopping, put it in the car, and then we usually go to the mall where the grocery store is. Now we used to go to another local store, which is Prince, which is fine because everybody said Prince was cheaper. Now they don't have aircon. It's an older building. They have big fans. They have some aircon, but it's and some of the stuff is cheaper. But when you really look into it, not everything's cheaper. It's really not cheaper. It's only some items are cheaper, right? We can also buy meat from a butcher shop, which is different than a wet market. It's actually a store. Their purpose is to sell meat, and they don't sell bad meat because they want to stay in business, right? So wet market, and then we go to the grocery store, and that's where we get almost everything else. That's where we get our baking supplies. That's where we get our meat. That's where we get our what am I trying to say? Our toiletries. That's where we get our cereal. That's where we get our bread. That's where we get our milk. For milk, I use the kind that's not refrigerated. I don't use the fresh, what they call fresh milk. I use the kind that's not refrigerated. It comes in a carton. Just a sec. Okay, this is the milk we buy. Nestle, of course, a very famous company in the U.S. It says fresh milk on it, so I misspoke myself. That's why I went and got it because I wanted to verify I was giving you the right information. They do sell stuff that's refrigerated, it's like a dairy milk. This is just regular milk. I don't know how it works. They sell it all over the world. They don't really sell it in the U.S. too much, but it's not refrigerated, so you don't refrigerate it until you open it. 100% fresh cow's milk, processed long life. So it's long life, imported from New Zealand. So this is the kind of milk we buy. You can buy the other kind too. I've really never tried the dairy. There's a dairy up here. We've never stopped. So maybe I should try it sometime. But because it's so far away, I'm like, well, why would I do that one time and then I'll want it and I won't get it. So that's what I use. It tastes okay. It doesn't taste the same as milk that we get in the U.S., but it's good. It's fine. It's good for cereal. It's great for coffee. What I use it for, and I don't have cereal very often. And once in a while, if I have a special like special cookies or something, I might have a little cup of this cold milk, and it's okay. It's not the same as the U.S. So we go to the grocery store. That's where we get most of our stuff. Now I'll tell you this: when the prices went up after COVID, it went up here too. I was spending $100, and then it went up to like $150. So it went up. But we have a special grocery deal because of what we do here is. I'm not really secretive about it, but we do have a ministry here, and we feed about 70 people a week. So we obviously have a different grocery bill than you would have if you're just here with your wife. But anyway, that's what we do for our grocery shopping. We buy a lot of stuff at the mall there because it's aircon and everything, and they have pretty good deals. They have some imported stuff. Um, I try not to buy imported stuff anymore. I used to buy more when I first got here, but now I'm okay. But they also have Skippy peanut butter, Jif peanut butter. They have different things that I buy. I buy the wheat bread. It's hang on a second. Let me show you this. Okay, this is the brand. It's called Gardenia. Gardenia, I think, is the best common bread. Now you might be able to find a bakery that has your own bread that you can do whatever you want. But this is the one I like, Gardenia. I buy the wheat bread. It's called high fiber whole wheat bread. Now it's not really good whole wheat bread like you get in the U.S. It's not. It's not. It's not going to be the same as Roman meal bread or some of the other breads, oral wheat bread stuff. It's not. But it's better than the white bread, and I like it. So that's they also Gardenia also makes a white bread. So if you're a bread eater, that's the kind of bread Gardenia is my favorite. There's other ones. There's little tiny pieces. Some of the bread's kind of sweet. You figure all that out when you get here. You figure all of it out. How much money do you have for extras? For me, like coffee, I buy ground coffee, just local from the Philippines, right? So depending on once again, if you're in a big city, you're gonna have more options for shopping, right? But that's how we grocery shop, guys, and we do it. We usually do it once a week, but then we have to do a supplemental. So you figure it out and you see how much you spend. And I don't know how much a normal person would spend because we feed a lot of people at our house because we're different. But that's where we get our groceries, and that's how you do it, guys. God bless you guys. Ta ta for now.